Sanjaya Uvacha Drishtva tu Pandavanikam Vyutam Duryodhanastadha Acharyam Upasangamya Raja Vachanam Bravit. Now, as per verse 2, literally speaking, Sanjaya is defining Duryodhana as king to Dhritarashtra. This is because the kingdom was actually governed by Duryodhana, as Dhritarashtra was blind and just a mere nominal head of the throne. Pandavas and Kauravas were assembled in the battlefield. Seeing Pandavas' side lined up with men and kings and warriors of righteousness and very high positive moral conduct, and also supported by Sri Krishna Paramatma, this made Duryodhana very nervous. As the war is going to begin, Duryodhana immediately rushed to Dronacharya, as he knows the honorable people like Drona and Bhishma are standing on his side of the army just because of compulsion, and they might jump ships anytime. It's also important to remember that Mahabharata battle also was initiated by Duryodhana. As we know, Dronacharya is the chief warrior of Kuru army. Duryodhana wanted to keep him stable as the war is going to begin, because Dronacharya is the master of both Pandavas and Kauravas. And seeing Pandavas who are the disciples of him, Dronacharya shouldn't change his mind, and that was a fear of Duryodhana. Bhishma, who was praised and admired by everyone in Kaurava kingdom and even by Pandavas, is a questionable personality in my opinion. As originally called Devavrata, he made an oath of celibacy throughout his life for the sake of his father. Okay, that is valid. After that, there is no valid proof that he stood up for justice in any incidents in the history of Mahabharata. For example, 1. When Saguni was wrongly influencing Duryodhana and Kauravas under his nose during their childhood, Bhishma didn't do anything or interfere in that matter. Number 2. When Karna's origin was questioned on an occasion by the ministers of the Kuru kingdom, Bhishma didn't do anything either, even though he knew the potential of Karna. Number 3. When Duryodhana called Pandavas for an illegal dice game with the support of Saguni, even then Bhishma didn't intervene and said anything to support the Pandavas, even though he is an uncle of Pandavas too, as much as he is the uncle of Kauravas. Number 4. When Duchadana, brother of Duryodhana, disturbed Draupadi, Bhishma was simply witnessing it. He didn't even show any anger or rage as much as Dronacharya did. Number 5. When Pandavas asked for just 5 villages to live in to avoid the battle between both the kingdoms and nothing more, Duryodhana refused, saying that he wouldn't even give a space as much as a tip of a needle to the Pandavas. Even at that time, Bhishma could have intervened and avoided the war, but he didn't. Number 6. This is the foremost thing, like when being an ally to evil Queen Satyavati, for her son Vichitravirya, Bhishma illegally abducted Amba, Ambika and Ambalika from an opposing kingdom, from a Swayamvar. But Ambika, Ambalika and Amba didn't want to marry Vichitravirya, who is son of Satyavati. Also, Amba was refused and abandoned by everyone because of Bhishma. We will see that detailed story of Amba and Bhishma in another video. So everybody would call Saguni as a bad personality in Mahabharata. But what influenced Saguni to plot hatred between Pandavas and Kauravas? This again the root cause of Bhishma immorally destroying Saguni's kingdom and his entire lineage for no reason. So this falsely praised Bhishma even till today, who was capable of accomplishing anything but couldn't do one right thing in his entire life in the history of Mahabharata. Seeing Duryodhana's impatience, this devil Bhishma blew his conch loudly to show his support for the wicked Duryodhana against the Pandava kingdom. Anywhere in Mahabharata, when you see a problem in the history, when there is a hiccup, when there is a hatred, when there is a battle, when there is a fight, when there is an injustice happening in the entire history of Mahabharata, the root cause would be Bhishma. Hamsa Yogananda explains how these factors affect the human consciousness. For example, when we sit for meditation, this decision was made with the help of buddhi, that is the intelligence mind. that is, in a historical sense, Pandavas. Now, when we close our eyes, we feel a lot of thoughts bombarding our mind. Suddenly, we became aware of the thoughts. So, these thoughts in the form of desires, rage, fear, etc. So, these are termed as Kauravas. Then the type of or a pattern of thoughts is usually based on our style of perception, which is again influenced by our karmic actions or experiences from previous lives. So this is called samskara, historically implied as Dronacharya. Simply put, ego seeing the buddhi takes the ally of samskara to hinder the spiritual journey of a seeker. Vedanta says if a human had a good samskara, that is a good past life, he indulges in good thoughts and actions in the current life. Similarly, if a human had a bad samskara, he indulges in bad thoughts and actions in the current life. But in my opinion, nevertheless, any human having any type of samskara has to constantly focus on the spirit mind to uphold his or her own truth and inner strength. One of the ways is Bhakti Yoga. Deepak Chopra says whenever we do an action as simple as eating a meal or taking a walk, ask yourself what I want to do. Do I really want to do this or something different? What should I do now? We will get an impulse or a thought on what's best to be done from our inner mind. Easy way I found useful is a practice suggested by Eckhart Tolle, who says whenever you are in distress, just quiet down your mind and be aware of the surrounding noises and witness your senses or the energy you would feel in your body, for example, hands or feet or face. He also says when you become aware of your thoughts, the thoughts loses its power. You are not anymore engulfed by thoughts. But the real challenge I find is how effectively can we pull our awareness back again and again to the presence, and how long could we experience this stillness? That's a true challenge of a spiritual seeker. Coming back to the verse 2 of chapter 1, it sounds like a warning to us to be aware of the ego mind constantly suppressing the conscious mind. If you see, the entire Gita is a warning to mankind who takes this precious human life for granted and spends his time in material pleasures. But how we lead a life without any fun or pleasure? Here is where the Bhagavad Gita is misunderstood. Gita is not asking the human to renounce the life and head to Himalayas. Of course, the universe is created on the basis of Ahankara and Mamakara by Vedanta. It is the I and my consciousness containing the true light behind. But as Deepak Chopra says, any pleasurable or contrasting experience is the level of one's consciousness termed as qualia, that is the quality of our experience. For example, we don't enjoy rain in the same way as a child would enjoy rain. Our point of vantage, like from where we experience how immense the experiences in our mind, is different from person to person. So how far we have lost our way and how to get ourselves back to our own inner light is the aim of any spiritual seeker. Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare.